The Siu Lim Tao set. Siu Lim Tao means little ideal or small idea. And it is one of the portions that Leung Jan saved from the original Siu Lim Tao longer form. Very important set. And essentially you've done the hoi sik, you've done the opening, you're in your stance. Then we're doing a pak sao with a little shift. A tun sao comes back, and it's a flat palm strike, just like you're palming the guy right in the face. Then a little pivot, back, strike. Pivot, back, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Remember, the pak sao is going forward, the tun sao is coming back on the shoulder line, striking right on the center. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Boom, boom, bang, 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 boom, boom. Just like that. Now, that's the basic. There's an alternative version where we do our pak sao, and this starts to come back as a tun sao, and then it sweeps up high, which is called a sao sao or cover hand, and then it strikes straight out. So I pivot, sweep back, strike, pivot, sweep back, strike, boom. And what's important here is I'm coming up, my elbow is still going forward, it's not out here. It's still going forward, I've covered my head, and then this snaps straight forward. So this motion is either a tun sao that continued to cover a high blow, just like a boxer's high cover, or it could be I pak sao and I'm stepping in, and this is an elbow strike right up the chin. Then you hit the guy as he falls back. But it's pak, sao, sao, strike. Sao, sao, strike. Pak, sao, strike. Pak. As opposed to the basic pak, tun sao, strike. Pak, tun sao, strike. Pak, tun sao, strike. Okay, so now let's see what it looks like on the dummy. So Siu Lim Tao on the dummy is exactly like we did it in the solo set. You pak sao with a little pivot, come back to center with the tun sao. Now it's got to be a smaller, tighter motion because you're staying between the dummy arms. And then you strike straight up the center, palm on the dummy, just like you were smacking somebody right in the face. Bam. Pak, tun, strike. Pak, tun, strike. Pak, strike. Pak, tun, strike. Pak, tun, strike. Pak. Remember, you've got to go forward with your pak sao so your tun sao can come back. Strike. Forward with the pak sao, tun sao comes back. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. Pak sao, tun sao, strike. And there's no variation with the sao sao because it doesn't fit on the dummy. So that's the Siu Lim Tao on the dummy. Siu Lim Tao two-man. We start by putting it into the pak dao drill like we do most things. So this one, we're going along. So I'm already doing pak sao. Now all I got to do is add the tun sao in there, right? So I pak and I come back with a tun sao. I pak one hand, going forward, and as this punch comes, I catch it with my tun sao coming back. Right? I can do that continuously. And then I just switch. Or I can alternate by pak, tun, pak. So I'm doing 3 blocks with one hand to make it alternate side to side. Pak, tun, pak, pak, tun, pak. Okay, now the Siu Lim Tao actually has its own two-man set that is one of the more complicated two-man drills, even though this is a very basic set in the second solo set you learn. So to do the set, we have to learn what we consider the yang side of the Siu Lim Tao empty hand form, which is essentially, I'm going to strike with the edge of my hand. So I'm doing a strike, strike, jute. Strike, strike, jute, strike, strike, jute, strike, strike, jute, strike, strike, jute. And see, it's an odd rhythm. So sometimes it's hard for students to catch that because I'm alternating hands. Always think strike, strike, jute, and I strike with the same hand. Strike, strike, jute, strike, strike, jute, strike, strike, jute. The other partner is simply doing the set. And so that's how we put it together. So now it's like the Pak Da drill we did, but instead of being on the outside for the whole thing, now we're on the inside. And that's why instead of a punch, we're doing that edge of the hand blow, because that gives a little wider space, more room for the person to work in between the arms instead of on the outside of the arms. So he's going to throw that first one, I pak, and he comes with the next one, tune, and then he jutes. Then he throws the same hand again. Pak, tune, jute. Pak, tune, jute. Pak, tune, jute. Pak, pak. And then when I get that down well, then you start putting the pivot back. So he throws that hand.
Oh, yeah.
I pivot, center, strike. Pivot, center, strike. Pivot, center, strike. Pivot, center, strike. Okay, and that's the actual two-man for the Siu Lim Tao. And there's transitions to switch side to side, but we'll leave those for later.